Hello, welcome to Going Global. I'm your host, Jung Se-mi. This week and next week, Going Global will bring you a two-part special set in the Latin American nation of Argentina, often known as the Little Europe of Latin America. Argentina has had a reputation for welcoming immigrants, and Koreans have established themselves in the society there. The Koreans are referred to as 꼬르헨티노s, and this year marks 50 years since the first Korean immigrants reached Argentinian soil. How far have these Koreans come since then? Let's take a look.
Argentina, the Little Europe of Latin America. It is a nation of immigrants, for indigenous people make up only 2% of the population. There is a part of Argentina called Little Korea, built by Koreans who crossed halfway around the world with nothing but their bare hands. They are the first-generation Korean immigrants who left their impoverished homeland to find success in Argentina. They have faced numerous trials and tribulations along with many instances of cultural shock and clashes.
실상 여기 와서 보니까 호미하고 갱이로는 농사를 지을 수가 없는 나라가 남미잖아요.
1세대들이 이 나라 문화를 이해를 못했어요. 오로지 일만 했지 밖에 나가지를 못하고.
Let's hear the success story of Koreans in Argentina in commemoration of their 50 years of immigration. This is La Marque, a town about 1,100 kilometers southwest of Buenos Aires. The first immigrants from Korea called La Marque home when they arrived in 1965. Today, an orchard that opened in 1994 by the late Eun Jun-gi is the only Korean-owned farm in the area. Eun stubbornly held on to his farm and passed it on to his eldest daughter, Eun Myung-hee.
아버님이 못다 이룬 꿈을 나라도 살아생전에 이룰 수 있으면 이루고 싶다는 그런 소망도 있고 우리 한국 사람들이 여기에 저렇게 비도 세워놨는데 이 농장을 팔고 가버리면 저 흔적이 다 없어질 것 같은 그런 아쉬움도 있고.
A memorial commemorating the immigration of Koreans to Argentina was erected in 2000 on the grounds of Galaxy Farm. If it weren't for Eun Myung-hee, the memorial would have no home. The former police station in La Marque is now a museum that shows the immigrants' life at the time. The traditional farming tools like hoes and picks look out of place. After a 2-month boat voyage to Buenos Aires, the first-generation immigrants headed to La Marque for one reason. The climate was similar to that of Korea.
En aquel momento, bueno, por decisión del gobierno argentino y coreano, lo primero que hubo, bueno, fue se los hospedó, estuvieron en la plaza de acá enfrente, después estuvieron acá en este lugar, en el primer piso, un par de semanas, hasta tanto se les asignó la tierra.
The local community welcomed them. They built an elementary school for the immigrants and helped them out in many other ways. The immigrants haven't forgotten the help they received. These days, a Korean school in Buenos Aires is funding this local school. A total of 32 Koreans graduated from the school, including Eun Myung-hee. However, since the end of 1991, Korean names have disappeared from the official registries.
Por eso que se la conoce siempre con el nombre de la Escuela de los Coreanos. A pesar de que tiene otro nombre, digamos, protocolar, que es Escuela Tambor de Tacuarí, pero la comunidad, la población, la conoce como la Escuelita de los Coreanos.
Despite the help of locals, immigrants were growing weary because of heavy labor and series of failures in farming. In the end, many gave up on farming and returned to Buenos Aires, or re-immigrated to the United States.
농사를 한 번도 지어보지도 못한 사람들이 호미하고 괭이를 가지고 이제 영농 이민을 나선 거죠. 근데 실상 여기 와서 보니까 호미하고 괭이로는 농사를 지을 수가 없는 나라가 남미잖아요. 이미 그 당시에 여기는 다 트랙터로 기계화되어 있었으니까.
First-generation Korean immigrants established textile industries in the industrial region of Once, to the west of Buenos Aires. Korean businesses are much bigger today, working in wholesale and fabric production, but some still operate at a small scale in Onse.
지방에서 오시는 분들이 여기를 꼭 들려야 돼요. 그러니까 한국 말하자면 남대문, 동대문 이런 식으로 돼 있는데 여기는 자파가 다 있어요.
Immigrants not knowing the local language began their textile businesses with knitting and sewing. Families worked together, reducing expenses and saving up. They gained experience with subcontracts from Jewish business people and soon directly bought fabric and began their own productions. The development of the Korean fabric industry in the 1970s was also a positive factor.
마침 한국이 섬유가 발달됐으니까 한국과 우리 아르헨티나 교민들 간의 어떤 교류가 마침 잘 이루어져 가지고 89년, 90년도 그때부터 한국 교민들이 생활이 많이 좋아지고 돈도 많이 벌고.
The Korean community continued to grow and thrive in the early 1990s. Then, an incident occurred in 1994. To commemorate the 50th anniversary of Korean immigration to Argentina, a Korean flag was raised at the entrance of the Korean community. This marks Florence, a destination for immigrants who left Le Marquais in search of cheaper houses. The Korean immigrants call this town Town 109, as a bus by that number used to have its final stop here. There are immigrants from Peru and Bolivia nearby, and many Koreans have left due to security concerns. But at one point in time, there were numerous cottage industries run by Koreans here.
여기 사거리 있지 않습니까? 이 사거리가 저쪽 비자촌 저기 인접국 이민자들하고 우리 교민들이 사는 이거하고 대치했던 곳입니다. 여기가.
In April 1994, a press report triggered a conflict between Korean immigrants and other immigrants. The reason? A Bolivian woman claimed that she was providing slave labor for a Korean industry, and the one-sided provocative report quickly turned the atmosphere hostile. The immigrants had violent clashes, and the image of Koreans suffered.
사건 자체는 좀 불미스러웠지만은 결과는 상당히 우리가 앞으로 살아가는 모습에 어떻게 살아가야 한다는 것을 알게 해준 중요한 계기가 됐습니다. 그래서 우선 4월 사태를 계기로 우리 스스로를 돌아보는 자생의 계기가 된 거죠.
The lessons from the incident manifested themselves in cultural and artistic exchanges. Koreans began to put in the effort to help the locals understand Korean traditions and culture. 1.5 generation painter Jo Yong-hwa, a familiar name among the locals, is striving toward this goal through his works.
이 50주년 행사하고 걸맞는 작품을 하나 생각해봐야 되겠다. 제가 어렸을 때 부모님들이 하시던 고사상이 생각이 났어요. 그 돼지 머리, 혓바닥이 이렇게 쭉 쳐져가지고 웃고 있고 참 충격적인 그런 모습이죠. 그래서 그 돼지 머리를 가지고 고사상을 제가 여기다가 심볼로키까멘데 상징적으로 고사상을 하나 찾습니다.
Eva Shin, who came to Argentina at the age of 2, has no vivid memories of Korea. She uses the divided experience of being bilingual as a theme for most of her works. Her works on display at the joint exhibition feature sounds correlated with specific images, creating her own unique language.
I'm always interested in mixing languages. Just as my personal life, like immigrants, I always had different languages going on in my life, like 집에서는 한국말, at school it was English because I went to an American school. In the streets it was Spanish. So this was my personal experience with this. I think this goes in my work too.
The works of Korean immigrant artists are well received by Argentine critics. They are seen as unique artworks that help enrich Argentina's cultural world, which is often centered on Europe.
Both of them have a very nice combination of traditional and contemporary means. I think that also they work in this relationship between some images and some techniques that are very deep rooted in their own countries, and they merge it with I would say a kind of a spirit of Argentina.
This is Amasud, a fabric manufacturer in San Martin, in the suburbs of Buenos Aires. Businessman Kim Hong-yeol established it in 1986, and today it's the 5th largest in its industry. Staff's satisfaction level is so high that some of its employees have been working here since the factory first opened. The factory adopts the latest technologies, supports employees' self-development efforts, and gives them high wages.
Bueno, yo acá empecé como operario, hace 15 años que estoy. Tuve la posibilidad de capacitarme, sí, de que la empresa me pagara los estudios, que eso es muy importante. Entonces yo me pude ir desarrollando dentro de la empresa y ir creciendo a base de estudiar.
Kim believes that while maintaining an equal relationship with his Argentine employees, he should not approach them as he would Koreans. It's important to maintain a balance between generosity and authority and duty.
제일 제가 중요하다고 생각하는 거는 우리가 여기서 현지에서 사업을 할 때는 현지인 마인드를 읽을 줄 알아야 된다. 이제 이게 제일 큰 키포인트였던 것 같아요. 예.
Korean clothes shops in Onsei that began as retail shops grew in scale after the 1990s. They moved to Avellaneda, which used to be the Jewish residential area. They also hired tens of thousands of Argentines as their businesses grew from retail to wholesale and production. Out of the 2,800 stores in Avellaneda Market, half of them are run by Koreans. 90% of street-side stores are Korean.
저희가 계산한 거는 한 42억 불 정도. 42억 불 정도의 규모의 매출을 1,500가게에서 지금 판매하고 하고 있습니다. 그중 그 42억 불의 매출에서 나오는 그런 세금을 보면은 상당한 부분을 한인 의료업에 종사하시는 분들이 아르헨티나 사회에 기여하고 있다고 봅니다.
However, there are always competitors. Bolivians who have learned Korean sewing techniques are gaining market share in the low-cost market, and Chinese products are also gaining ground. As almost all Koreans are involved in the fabric industry, the entire society is at the whims of the economy.
어떤 의료업종만을 가지고 우리 미래의 세대를 맡길 수가 없습니다. 우리 젊은이들이 보다 관심 분야를 넓혀서 이 나라의 주류 사회로 들어갈 수 있는 그러한 데 관심을 많이 갖기를 이렇게 기대를 하고 그래야만이 우리 앞으로 우리 한인 2, 3세가 이 나라에서 자리를 굳히고 또 이 땅을 이 땅이 우리의 그 한이 2, 3세대들의 어떤 조국이 되지 않을까.
Asians began immigrating to Argentina en masse only 20 years ago. A nation established by Europeans and colonized by Europe, Argentina, Korean immigrants have called it their home for 50 years. They succeeded financially with diligence and sincerity, traits often associated with the Korean people, and they have become a bridge that connects Argentina and Korea.
No pensábamos y no hablábamos de tecnología coreana y hoy es muy común que una gran parte de los argentinos sus teléfonos celulares sean de una marca muy conocida coreana y entonces aprendemos a valorar también el desarrollo que ha tenido Corea en materia de tecnología.
"50 years have passed since Koreans landed in Argentina, a country that shares many ties with Europe. The Koreans in Argentina are fanning out and establishing themselves in all areas of the society. And their successes show the potential of Korean immigrants."
The first generation of immigrants established their new home and economic stability quite successfully in Argentina. However, they weren't able to fully immerse themselves in Argentinian society due to the language and cultural barrier. The second generation of Koreans in Argentina have now stepped up and are immersing themselves in the mainstream society while maintaining their Korean heritage. Next week, Going Global will be back with the stories of the second generation Koreans in Argentina. See you next week.